The Haunting of Blackmoor Manor. Blackmoor Manor stood at the edge of the moors, its towering silhouette a dark blot against the stormy sky. For centuries, the manor had been abandoned, left to decay beneath the weight of its terrible past. Locals spoke of strange lights flickering in its windows at night and of whispering voices carried on the wind. Few dared to venture near, and those who did never stayed for long. Eleanor Whitmore did not believe in ghosts. A historian and researcher, she specialized in uncovering the truth behind England's most notorious hauntings. When she learned of Blackmoor Manor's grim history, a family brutally murdered within its walls, their deaths never explained, she saw an opportunity. If she could uncover the truth, she would cement her reputation as a scholar of the supernatural. On a cold October evening, she arrived at Blackmoor, her car rumbling up the gravel path that led to the house. The manor loomed before her, its windows hollow and dark, its doors slightly ajar as if waiting for her. Ignoring the chill creeping down her spine, Eleanor stepped inside. The air was heavy with dust and decay. The grand hall, once a place of opulence, was now a ruin of time. Cobwebs hung from chandeliers, and faded portraits of the Blackmoor family stared down with lifeless eyes. She set up her recording equipment and began her investigation, speaking aloud to the silence. "I am Eleanor Whitmore. I seek the truth of Blackmoor Manor." For a while, there was nothing. Then, as the clock struck midnight, she heard it, a soft whisper, barely audible. "Leave." Eleanor turned sharply, heart hammering. The room was empty, but the whisper had been real. Steeling herself, she pressed on, exploring deeper into the house. In the dining room, the long mahogany table remained set, plates coated in decades of dust. A shattered goblet lay near the head of the table, as if it had been thrown in rage. As she examined the room, a sudden gust of wind slammed the doors shut. The candles in her lantern flickered wildly. Then came the footsteps, slow, deliberate, moving toward her from the darkened hall. "Who's there?" Eleanor called, forcing her voice to remain steady. No answer, only the sound of breathing, ragged and close. She raised her camera, snapping a picture. The flash illuminated the hall for just a moment, but what she saw made her blood run cold. A figure stood at the far end of the corridor, tall, shadowed, its face obscured, but its eyes, they burned with something unnatural. Eleanor stumbled back, her mind racing. Every instinct told her to leave, but she had come too far. She needed answers. In the manor's library, she discovered a journal belonging to Lord Thomas Blackmoor, the last master of the house. As she flipped through its pages, a horrifying tale unfolded. The Blackmoor family had been cursed, tormented by an unseen force that whispered to them in the night, driving them to madness. One by one, they had turned on each other, until only Thomas remained. His final entry was a desperate scrawl. "It will not let me leave. The house is alive. We are its prisoners." A sharp cry rang through the air. The room grew unbearably cold. Eleanor spun around just as the figure from the corridor appeared in the doorway. Now she could see its face, a twisted visage, its mouth frozen in a silent scream. The candles extinguished, plunging her into darkness. The next morning, locals found Eleanor's car abandoned outside Blackmoor Manor. The front doors stood wide open, but she was nowhere to be found. Her camera lay shattered in the grand hall. The last photo burned into the screen, a blurred image of a shadowy figure reaching toward her. Blackmoor Manor remains empty to this day, but if you listen closely on a quiet night, you might hear a whisper carried on the wind. Moral: some truths are best left buried. When you seek the darkness may also seek you.